Today we're going to be focused on what I call rolling. There's a bunch of moves that involve rolling, and what it really is flexing into the lumbar spine and connecting to our lower abdominals. So this is going to start to feel a little different. The last couple classes, we've been focusing more on our internal muscles, so the transverse abdominis, and I want you to keep that focus. Generally, inner muscle working out is going to feel different than outer muscle working out. Our outer muscles are what we tend to be used to. It's that kind of like lifting feeling. It feels good. It's nice to be sore. And I know a number of us have talked about being sore, so it's not like that hasn't already been present. But the more we engage our internal muscles, the easier everything else becomes. And so I really want you to keep holding on to those foundations of the transverse abdominis, and then we'll also add pelvic floor at some point. And that even as we get into some of the outer muscles, that you want to keep that focus there, and you want to keep that efficiency, because those internal muscles are going to give you a lot more sustainability. You're going to be able to do things for much longer. So I'm curious just to do a little pop quiz here. Does anyone know what your external abs, so your abs, your six packs, what are they for? Like, what do they do? Why do people get so excited about working them out? The beach, yes. That's what they're for. Basically, people get excited about working them out because people love the look of the six pack. But functionally in your body, what your abs do is they flex the spine. So anytime I'm rounding, flexing, those are my abs. So that's what a sit-up does, right? Now, it's kind of funny because like that's not the most functional movement to round into yourself. In fact, if you do too much of that, you create really bad posture. So I really encourage people not to hyper focus on their external abdominals. And the other thing, if we're talking about beach bodies, the external abdominals are actually round. And so if you're trying to get flat belly, you're never going to get that working out your abs. You're going to add more rounding. And there is actually nothing wrong with a rounded belly. That's a natural, like it's natural to have a round belly, and we should all really embrace that. But today what we're going to do is going to build on some of our foundations from the last couple classes. And some of these rolling moves will start to get into more of the lower abs and the whole rectus abdominis. I know that we have a few people with different injuries here, so just be aware of what yours is and modify as you need to. I'll try to remember and offer a few different options. And if at any point you need something easier or harder, feel free to say something or write in the chat, and we'll go along that way. Cool? Great. And I invite you to find your sits bones. So 2 bony pieces in your seat. And sitting your weight evenly on both sits bones. And we're just going to take a few belly breaths here, allowing your belly to expand on the inhale and a natural release on the exhale. Bringing your attention and your awareness to your center, to your core. And leaving everything outside the door, everything that maybe whatever it took you to come here today or what you're planning to do later, just leave it outside the room. And set the intention to stay connected to your center for the next hour. We're going to start to exhale out the mouth. And if you'd like to remind yourself where that transverse abdominis is or what it feels like, you can take a little laugh or a cough. I had some really big laughs today and really remembered how much that works the transverse. So take a laugh, feel that. You can always take your fingers inside your hip bones to feel that contraction. And then start to send your inhale into the ribs, into the sides and back of your ribs. You can even take your hands there if it's helpful. Inhaling into the side and back of your ribs. And as you exhale, H-A-ha, drawing the belly button in and up. Continue drawing in, stay connected to that transverse laugh muscle, even as you inhale, creating more space in through the upper back and through the ribs. And continuing to draw the belly button in and up. Starting to make that oceanic or Darth Vader-like breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Maybe gently starting to squeeze your tailbone and pubic bone towards one another, starting to connect into the pelvic floor. These are the muscles that line the base of your pelvis. We won't go too deep into this today, but just know that your pelvic floor, when you contract your pelvic floor, your transverse actually contracts a microsecond later. So they're connected. And so if you want to start to, if you know what a pelvic floor contraction is, start to add that on your exhale. You can do that. Good. From here, let's inhale, reach the arms up. We'll stretch up. Exhale, hands to prayer. Good. We'll flip ourselves over to the side. And starting with a nice neutral spine here, we're just going to start to curl back into the low belly. So this is called a C curve. And on the inhale, we're going to come back up. So it's like those pelvic bowl rolls we did on the floor, except this time we're seated. So we're rolling the pelvis back. And then on the inhale, rolling back up and finding that neutral spine where your spine sits tall, not coming into an arch here. Now you're going to start to think about not collapsing, but just like the bowing that we did last week, you're thinking of scooping your lower belly button up and in. So instead of collapsing back, we're creating spaciousness and length through the spine and the belly. I like to think here like someone's taking an ice cream scoop to the belly and you're just hollowing out. And we're not taking this into the upper body. The shoulders are open and wide, and we're just rolling into the low body. Exhale back and inhale up. Good. And on this next one, we're going to roll all the way back. So you can keep your hands behind the thighs, slowly rolling back. Keep breathing. If you need a bit of extra support, you can have your hands with a bit of weight along the side and down to the elbows as you roll back one vertebrae at a time, all the way down to the floor. And then your head comes down. From here, bring your feet on the floor and we'll just tap back into those pelvic rolls. So on your inhale, send your tailbone away from you. And on the exhale, lengthen the tailbone to flatten the low back into the floor. So with every inhale, hip bones start to shine towards your knees. And on the exhale, hip bones shine towards your face. Or again, if you imagine that bowl of water, as you inhale, the water pours out to your toes. And on the exhale, it pours onto your belly, making sure to keep your glutes and your legs relaxed and let this movement come from the low back and the lower abdominals. One more little roll here, nice release of the low back, and you should be nice and relaxed. And here we're going to find neutral spine with the pelvis. So again, right in between those two motions from your pubic bone and your hip bones are going to be parallel to the floor. So that triangle, you can always take a check. Make sure your ribs are flush back so you keep that natural C curve under your low back. This is your neutral spine. Start to connect to your Pilates breath, inhaling into the ribs. Exhaling, drawing that transverse abdominis in, your corset muscle wrapping around. Inhaling into the ribs. And knee fold here, we're going to exhale, one leg comes up. Inhale to send the foot back down. And exhale the other leg. So again, very simple movement, but what we're focusing on here is stabilizing with the transverse, drawing the belly button up and in, and not moving the pelvis, not moving the spine. You're using that corset muscle to stabilize the low back, to stabilize the spine. So you can continue with knee folds, or if you want to take it right to toe taps, we can take both legs up one at a time. Once you're up, make sure that you're still in neutral. You can check it out with your hands. And then toe tap, inhale one toe towards the floor. It doesn't have to touch. And then exhale, floating back up. Preventing the spine from arching as you extend or flattening as you come up. So this is just an articulation from the leg, not from the spine. And you're resisting the weight of the leg as it sends away by drawing the belly button up and in. In through the nose, HA ha through the mouth, connecting to that laugh muscle. And you can do exactly what you're doing, or if you want to add on option to extend the leg all the way out and then back up. Really making sure that you're keeping the pelvis in neutral, staying connected to your transverse abdominis, relaxing the shoulders and the face. They have nothing to do with this move. It's all in your core. And let's do one or two more. Make sure you're evened up on both sides. And then take a breath. And then when you're done, you can grab your knees, hug them into your chest, and just give your back a little roll side to side, or whatever feels good here. Nice. So making sure to take some belly breaths between exercises. We're going to bring the feet back to the floor. Again, pelvis is in neutral, and here we're just going to take it up to the head. Little review of our nose nods. So we're going to lengthen the back of the neck, back of the head stays on the floor, and then return to center. So on the inhale, the nose nods slightly down, and on the exhale, it releases to center. Thinking here that you're lengthening your entire spine just by this simple nod, creating space, creating traction, and a nice release for the neck. And this is a really nice one to do if you've had any neck injuries. You can start to think about like you're moving your inner muscles through your skin. Take it a little deeper. And then we're going to take this to our head float. So we're going to interlace the fingers, take them to the base of your spine, or your head, where the spine connects into the head. Elbows stay out. Check out your pelvis. Make sure you're neutral, so you're not arched, you're not flattened back. We're going to inhale, nod the nose. Exhale, head float. Head, neck, and shoulders come off the floor. Inhale at the top. And then exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come down. Good. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to float. Trying not to press into your low back. Inhaling at the top. And exhaling, lowering. So one way to check out if your transverse is working, your belly shouldn't be popping up. The belly will start to pop off if you start to take this more into your external abs. So we want to keep that stabilization more in the transverse. Inhale to nod. Exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come off the floor, drawing the belly button up and in. Inhale at the top and exhale lower, just like a fiddlehead, keeping space from your hips to your ribs. And here just focusing on those upper abdominals. Inhale at the top. Last one. Exhale lower. Good. All right. How are we doing? So we're going to come right into our 3 main exercises that we did last week, 100, single leg, and double leg. So I won't break them down. I'm assuming that most of you did class last week. So we're going to start with our 100. So let's glue the legs together. We'll start with the legs. So your feet can stay on the floor. First option, inhale into your ribs. Second option, legs are at tabletop. Third option, legs to the sky. Fourth options, legs at the diagonal. Wherever you are, check out your pelvis. Make sure you're neutral, hip bones and pubic bone aligned. And then from here, we're going to inhale, nod the nose. Exhale, head, neck, and shoulders float up. You can keep your hands behind your neck or extend them beside you. And we go inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. In through the nose and out through the mouth. If you're doing the arm pulse, it's just like you're squishing an orange under your triceps. 3 more sets. In through the nose, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out through the mouth. Last one. Inhale, reach everything. Exhale, lower down. Draw your knees into your chest. It's hard for me to do this and talk at the same time. Good. We're going to come into double leg stretch, so both arms and legs coming out at the same time. Again, this is the exact same exercise. We're keeping pelvis in neutral, space between the hips and the ribs nice and long. So again, hands behind the base of your skull. Inhaling into the ribs. Exhale, float the knees up. Inhale, nod the nose. Exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come off the floor, eyes to your thighs. On the inhale, extend the legs up. And then exhale back to tabletop. Second option is to extend the legs out at the diagonal and back to tabletop. Third option is to add arms. Inhale, reach arms and legs at the same time. Exhale, arms circle around. Stay lifted so your shoulders and head stay off the floor. You're not coming up and down. And you're not rocking through the pelvis. You're maintaining that beautiful neutral spine. Inhaling to expand and reach. Exhaling to draw in. Three more here. Nice long full breaths. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, roll down. Take a breath. Exhale, release the legs down. And we're going to slide the legs down the mat just to give them a little shake out. You can flop the legs side to side or up and down. And we'll come into the double leg stretch, or single leg stretch. So we do 1 knee at a time, 2 sips in through the nose, 2 sips, exhale, 2 out the mouth. So let's draw the knees back up. Find your neutral spine. Inhaling in through the ribs. Exhale, legs come up to tabletop. Inhale to lengthen the back of the neck. Exhale, head, neck, and shoulders come off the floor. And we go. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. One leg extends, and then the other. Option for the hands to come to the knees, but they're not pulling in. They're just, if anything, lifting the knee and the thigh up out of the hip socket. Thinking like you're pressing your legs through honey. Give them a bit of resistance. Still drawing your belly button up and in. Staying head is nice and relaxed. 4, 4, 3, last set. Inhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Knees come in. Exhale with control, roll her down. So how you come out and how you come in is just as important. Exhale to come back to the floor, and then we can sway the knees side to side. Take a couple nice big deep belly breaths. Whew, yeah. How are we feeling? Good, nice, awesome, lots of thumbs up. Beautiful. So that's your review. We're going to come into some new stuff here. So we're going to start to roll into the low back, and we're going to start with an articulating bridge. So, and you can check this out first if you like. We're going to start with that flattening back that we do with the pelvic bowl roll. So lower abdominals, and then start to articulate the spine up one vertebrae at a time, all the way up to the tips of the shoulders. We take an inhale at the top. Now, this is not yoga, so I'm not trying to find the biggest back bend I can. If anything, I'm trying to find a nice, neutral, long spine from my shoulders to my knees. And on the inhale, I'm at the top. And on the exhale, softening through the sternum, seeing if I can peel my spine down like a pearl necklace, one little piece at a time, all the way down. And then I inhale into neutral at the bottom. Nice and simple, should feel nice and good. So let's do that together. Feet on the floor, hands can be down beside you, shoulders are relaxed. Inhaling in through the nose. Exhale, lower abs draw down, and articulating the spine one vertebrae at a time. Once you reach the top, you can inhale, and on the exhale, moving down. So this one, you can just remember you're moving on the exhale and you're pausing at the top and bottom in your inhale. And you really want to think about, as you start that movement, that you're using your lower abdominals. So your legs will start to kick in at some point, but see if you can make most of this movement come from a rolling through your abs. So that lift is coming from your abs drawing back and in. And then at some point, you need to use a little bit of leg power. And at the top, you're thinking extending the knees away from the shoulders to create length. Let's do one more of these. And notice the places that maybe feel a bit more stuck. So you might feel a nice smooth roll through some places, and some places feel like more like a large chunk that won't articulate. Just notice that. It might be an area that you might have too much tension. Can you encourage it to soften and slowly articulate through? Nice little roll here. Beautiful. And then once you've come down, take a breath at the bottom. Great. So we'll take this into our, an exercise bridge. So you can check this out on me first. So I'm going to do that same move. Exhale all the way up. I'll speed it up. And then I'm going to lift one leg off the floor. So once I'm here, you want to make sure that your hips stay in neutral. They're aligned to each other and towards the rest of your body. You can keep the knee bent, or you can extend to the sky or somewhere in between. And what we're going to do is inhale at the top, and on the exhale, I'm going to flex the foot and send it away. You can either send it in alignment with your thigh or further down, but try not to drop the hip. And then we inhale to lift and exhale to extend. So we do that a few times, and then when we switch, we come up and then we roll through, and then we come to the other side. Cool? Great. All right, so let's do this. I'll talk you through it. Let's do it together. Inhaling into the ribs. Remember, you're still Pilates breathing. Exhale, draw your belly button up and in and start to round through the spine, articulating up all the way to the shoulders. Once you've reached the top, pick one leg, extend it to the sky or with the knee bent, and check out your hips and make sure they're neutral. We're going to inhale at the top, toes pointed, and exhale, extend, flex the foot. Inhale to point and lift, and exhale to extend. try not to lose your Pilates breath, drawing the belly button up and in. Breathing into the ribs. And you're really pressing into that standing leg, working into that standing glute to stay lifted. One more here. Inhale, lift. Exhale, flex. Inhale to the top. Bend the knee. Make sure your hips come back to neutral in the lifted place. And then on your next exhale, roll through, articulate the spine all the way down. We're going to come right over to the other side. Inhale when you're at the bottom. Exhale to roll up. Once you're at the top, weight shifts into the opposite foot. Knee bend or leg to the sky. Check out your hips. We're going to point the toe. Inhale. And exhale, flex the foot, extend it away. Inhaling to lift. And exhaling to flex. Trying to create length through the leg here. Focusing on your Pilates breath. Alignment from your shoulder to your knee. And if possible, relax your face. Nice smooth breath. One more full breath. Inhale, point the toe. Exhale, take the foot back to the floor, even feet. And exhale, roll the way back and through. Good. Take a breath at the bottom. And you can shake the legs out in any way that feels good. Nice one. So you should start to be feeling warm. I'm shaking quite a bit because I've worked out too much this week. But here we are. So we're going to start to take this into another rolling through the low back. So again, just go as far as feels good in your body. We're going to take the legs up to tabletop and towards the sky. So it's okay if you keep the knees bent. If you've got tight hamstrings, maybe you can make it towards the sky. So I'm going to keep the legs glued together. Palms are down beside you, shoulders pressed down. On the inhale, I'm going to send the legs a little bit away. Just like before in our fundamentals, we're not arching the spine as we go away. Really make sure that you don't do that. It's really, really important. And then as you exhale, we're going to start to round. So we are breaking neutral into the low back to lift the legs back. And actually, before we do this, we're going to just practice sending the legs straight up. So on your exhale, think about lifting your tailbone up by drawing your lower abdominals down. So instead of over the head, I'm thinking like I'm trying to touch the toes to the ceiling. So if I were in the room with you, I'd probably come around with my hand and place them just above your toes, straight up above you, towards the ceiling. And you just try to poke your toes to there. And notice your shoulders are maybe going to want to come into this. So imagine someone pressing your shoulders down and relaxing your shoulders. And let this come from your lower abdominals, dropping down. Just a gentle lift of your tailbone off the floor. A couple more of these. 4, 3. Good. Bring the knees back into the chest. Good. So that's just a bit of a fundamental to get into those low abs. And the reason why I start there, you can watch this first actually. So I'm going to inhale to send away. On the exhale, I'm going to come up and start to come over. So this is our start of our rollover. We're not going to go the full way today. But instead of thinking toes right back behind me, I'm thinking up and over. So I'm creating length as I count them along. So it's inhale away, exhale, little curl, and then inhale back. So it's like an articulating bridge, but in the opposite direction. Yeah. Sweet. I see a bunch of toes. Happy toes. Great. I'm going to assume that if I don't hear anything from you, that everything's fine. So we're going to, let's extend the legs up. Again, it's okay if the knees are bent. Find your Pilates breath here. Inhaling into the ribs. Exhale, drawing the navel up and in. Inhale, extend the legs away without arching the spine. Exhale, think about lifting the toes towards the ceiling and then up over the head. Inhale away. And feel that low back peeling one vertebrae at a time with control up until where you stop, and then you just float back on the inhale. So we're not using momentum here. We're using strength, our lower abdominals. And if you feel like you're using momentum, maybe slow it down a little and challenge yourself. And you don't have to come very far. It's just a gentle lift of the pelvis off the floor. So notice we are breaking neutral spine here. So it's good just to note when you are and when you're not in neutral spine, that awareness, somatic awareness, really helpful for keeping your body safe. Let's do one more. Good. Knees come into the chest, hands come to the knees, and give them a couple stirs, circling out to in, and the other direction into out. Beautiful. Let's come over onto the side and press yourself up to seated. Great. How are we doing? Good. Great. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up. I know I don't know if I'm asking a lot, but it's hard to tune in when I can't hear everybody. All right, so some more fundamentals here. Well, actually, it's a mix of things we're going to do here. So let's have the legs to one side. We're going to come back to that C curve we did at the beginning and take it a little deeper here. So we start in neutral spine, sitting tall on your sits bones. Some people, if you want to sit on a block, that's totally fine here. If you feel like you can balance on it with your sits bones. From here, we're going to curl back into that C curve. So I'm rounding through the low back. Again, this is very different. Like this is what it looks like when I collapse. This is what it looks like when I do a C curve. So my arm might be in the way there. But you really want to think about that scooping and lifting up and over. And we're just going to hold here in the C curve. So you have the option of taking it back a little further. Keeping the collarbone nice and wide and relaxed. If you feel like you can balance, your option just to release the arms forward, soft round through the elbows. And you're scooping the belly button up and in. So here you really notice how useful the Pilates breath is, because if you were breathing into your belly, you would really have a hard time in this position. So you're going to send more breath into the upper back, into the sides. Keeping it out of the upper chest, out of the shoulders, sides and backs. Good. And avoid trying to reach out through the arms, right? The arms are just relaxed. They're hanging here. If that's too much, you can take the hands back behind the legs. If you want to add on, we're going to inhale, arms come up towards the ears. They don't have to come all the way. And then exhale, come back. Keeping that round through the belly. Inhaling up towards the ears and exhaling back. So you notice you work a little more as the weight of the arms comes towards the head. And you can adjust as you need to. Take the hands behind the legs or come up a little if you need to release. Beautiful. One more. Hands come back behind the knees, roll up, bring the soles of the feet together. If it feels nice, you can bounce the legs or just hold here. Maybe reach the spine forward to lengthen the low back. Some nice deep belly breaths here. Everyone feel warm in their belly? Yes, good. So now we're going to practice a V-sit. So notice how this is different than a C-sit. We're going to come back to neutral spine. What is neutral spine? Natural C curve in the low back. So this time I'm going to pivot back. I'm not going to round into the back. I'm just going to hinge from the hips to come back. So notice how different that is, right? This is a C curve and this is a V-sit. So what's going to happen is more of your multifidus or the muscles in the low back are going to be a little more active. Make sure you're not over exaggerating this and coming into an arch, but you're keeping that neutral. And if you've got a screen, maybe you can check yourself out. And you're keeping nice and long through here. And we practice our breath here in through the sides and back of the ribs. And exhale, drawing the belly button up and in. So this should feel really different. Maybe a little bit more of your thighs are engaged here. If it's too much on the thighs, you can also release the legs out a bit. Let's take one more breath. Inhale. And exhale to draw back up. Does that difference make sense to everybody? Cool. So this is the foundation for an exercise called teaser. So we're going to come back again, and I'll take this in stages. Stop where it feels right in your body. Inhaling tall into the ribs. Exhale, drawing the belly button up and in. One more. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale to hinge back into your V-sit. Good. First option is just to stay here. Second option, we reach the arms out like you're making a box with your back and your thighs and your arms, 3 sides of a box. So feel where that positioning is. And we just breathe here in through the ribs. Exhale out the mouth. Keep connecting to your transverse. It's going to help you here even as these bigger muscles are starting to get more engaged. Breath in. And exhale to come up. Take a breath up. And we'll exhale, come back into it. This time you can keep the hands behind the thighs or take the fingertips to the sides beside you, maintaining that nice long spine. And we're going to do our knee fold position from here. So we inhale and then exhale to lift the leg, and then inhale down. Exhale, opposite leg, and inhale back down. So we've done this before on the floor with the knee fold. So those same principles apply, trying to keep neutral spine and stabilize. We're just in a little bit more of a position where you're going to be working a little bit more. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can work on extending the leg all the way out. Good. Try not to compromise your low back. Check in. Have you rounded into that low back? Are you keeping that nice long V-sit? Remember, laughter is good. Laughter connects you to that transverse. One or two more, make sure you're evened out. And then when you're done, take a breath, hands behind the legs, roll up. Whew. This time, you can come back to that butterfly position, but if you want to come forward here, take the hips back, lengthen the spine, and then just come reaching the spine forward to whatever level feels good in your own body. Release into your belly as you breathe. Beautiful. We're going to come back up. Ready for another set? Yeah. All right. Well, ready or not, here we go. We're going to come back up to our neutral spine. I'm way too giggly today. I'm going to inhale into the ribs. Exhale, connect into your transverse. Again, inhale, length and tall. And exhale, V-sit. So again, first option, just hang out here. Second option, we're going to take the fingertips down again. And you can practice lifting one leg and the other leg like before, or maybe you can do one leg and then the other leg together. And if they're together, you may want to think about squeezing the legs together. That can help. So either here with the knees bent or extend the legs out, which I'm not going to do today. And keeping that long spine. Next option, wherever you are with the legs, is to take one arm. And if that's enough, maybe you put that arm down and you try the other arm. Or maybe you can get both arms up. So you're balancing on your hip bones and you're getting that box shape, right? 3 sides of a box. If the legs are extended, it's a longer box. And we breathe here in through the ribs. Smile out your fingertips. Reach out to your toes. Feels so great. Find that length from head to tail, from hips to toes, from shoulders to fingertips. 2 more breaths. Length through the back of the neck. Last one. Arms come down, legs bend and come up, roll up, extend the legs, and soften forward over the legs. Big breath in, long sigh out. And this is great. This is the part of class where I start to hear participants swearing at me, but because you're all on mute, I can't hear anything. It's wonderful. Good. Coming back up, we'll take the arms behind us, little lift of the heart, just to release that round. Come back to center. Yeah, leg cramp on the last exercise, totally. It's really intense on the legs. Thanks for that note. Yeah, so because we're working some pretty major muscles here, the stronger we get through the core, the less intense that cramp will be, but it does happen. So if you need to release the legs in any way, please do. You might want to take a little quad stretch. And we'll come down to the floor and let go of those hips in a bit. So we're going to come into 1 minute roll down, which is actually my favorite exercise. So we did a roll down already, but a 1 minute roll down is we do it for a count of 60 seconds. So first option, I'll just show you all the options, is to do what we did before. So we start with the hands behind the legs. As you reach this point, hands can come to the floor and legs can extend out. The extension of the legs will help you here, and you can put weight on your arms here as you come down, and we're gonna roll all the way down to the floor. Second option is to keep the arms out in front of you. So I know the tendency is going to be to try to reach away, keep long through the spine, and the arms are just rested here. Third option, super hard, is to keep the arms up by your ears the entire time and roll down from there. And so we're just going to articulate the spine like we did with our bridge, and make sure you breathe the entire time, in through the nose, out through the mouth, whatever breath pattern works for you. but we're going to come down super slow, and I'm going to count to 60. If you come down before then, no big deal. Take a breath, take a stretch. If you come down and there's still lots of time, feel free to come back up and try again. Sound good? And don't take yourself too seriously. So sitting nice and tall, neutral spine, can be helpful to bend the knees to start. Take whatever position you like, behind the legs or out in front or on top. Shoulders back. Relax your face. Connect to your Pilates breath. And we go for 60. 59. Start to curl the tailbone back and in. 54, 53, 52. So we're slowly sequencing. 49, 48. Make sure you're still breathing. 44, 45. My counting won't be perfect. 43, 42, 41. Starting to roll over the sacrum. 39, 38, 37, 36, 35, 34, 33, keep breathing, 32, 31, you're halfway there, 29, 28, 27, soften your shoulders, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, draw your navel in, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, sequencing through the upper back, 7, 6, through the neck, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend the arms overhead, full body reach and stretch. And exhale, arms release down by your side. How do you do? Brilliant. So that's your 1 minute roll down. And we're going to start to do roll ups. So all of this will start to make sense as we put it together in full exercises. So a roll up is basically the opposite of a roll down. Now we're only going to do a half roll up here. And the foundation is on that nose knot and head float, which is why I spent so much time on that last week. So this helps keep the neck safe. It helps create space as you come up. So I'm going to demonstrate first. I'm going to inhale the arms by the ears. They don't need to come all the way up. Try not to arch your back as they come up. So we're just extending the arms up. On the exhale, I'm going to start the nose nod the nose. Exhale, head float, head, neck, and shoulders. So my spine's still in neutral here. And then I'm going to come up to a point where I can't keep neutral anymore. And I'm going to roll into the low back, come out of neutral. And maybe you come about this far. We inhale up and then exhale, one vertebrae at a time. Roll all the way back down. Inhale, arms by the ears, and we repeat. Questions? We're ready for it. Good. So keep your legs extended here. You can do this with bent knees, but most of our thighs are going to appreciate the extended legs. We're going to inhale the arms up by the ears. Exhale, nod your nose. Exhale, head float. Back is still in neutral until you get to this point. At the top, inhale. And then exhale, one vertebrae at a time, roll down through the neck and back. Inhale, arms by the ears. Exhale, nose nod, head float, roll up. Inhale to hold at your top. And exhale, one vertebrae at a time, rolling down. Let's do 3 more of these. And I find it's helpful to flex out the heels. It helps ground the legs. Inhaling at the top and exhaling to move. And maybe you've done your 3, maybe you have 1 more to go. And we roll back down. Good. Take a breath here. If you'd like to come into any stretch, feel free to do so while I demonstrate this next move. So for some of you, a half roll up like we just did is going to be perfect, and you're going to want to do a second set of that. For some of you, you might be ready for a full roll up. So it looks like this. We inhale by the shoulder, ears, arms by the ears. Exhale, nod the nose. Exhale, head float. Exhale, keep rolling up, 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 all the way through. And then when I get to the top, I'm going to scoop the belly into like a forward C curve, rounding like a ball. And then I'm going to inhale to come back to neutral. And then I'm going to sequence through and exhale all the way down. So nice and quick. It's inhale up, exhale up and over, scooping out, and then inhale tall. Now, what I don't want to see, not that I can see all that well, is this where you're just kind of herking up using momentum. Not super helpful, probably going to hurt your body. And in fact, the slower that you go, some of you will get to this point and you're like, there's just no way. Well, then that's fine. Come back down. And some of you are going to feel like your legs are going to want to lift. If you had weights, you could put them on your feet. In Pilates mats, sometimes there's a strap on the end, but you're going to think about grounding the feet down as you come up. Also don't want to see this reach to the arms, so keep the shoulders plugged in so that this is really coming from your core. Any questions? Let's try it. Great. Again, you can just do half. I'll talk through full here. So legs on the ground, extend out your heels. Find your Pilates breath. I'm always going to start here. Most important foundation. On your next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms out by your ears. Exhale, nose nod, head float, roll up. Keep reaching, extend up and over. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Scoop the belly button, round up and over the legs. And then inhale to stack the spine in neutral. Feel neutral spine before you exhale and roll all the way down, one vertebrae at a time. And then the arms float by the ears. Inhale. Exhaling, rolling up. Scooping up and over, drawing the navel in to lengthen spine, stretch forward. Inhale, tall. And exhale, roll. So notice this is a continuous exercise, nice and fluid. Inhaling by the ears. Exhale, keep the shoulders plug in, reach. Up and over. Inhale at the top. And exhale, roll down. Let's do 2 more. If you want to challenge yourself more, you can keep the arms by the ears instead of by out in front of you. Inhale, tall. And exhale, roll. Last one. Inhale, expand. Feel length and relaxation even as you work here. Length and relaxation. Scoop up and in. A nice length through the lower back. Inhale, tall. And exhale, roll back down. Good. Releasing to the ground. Nice. Okay. How do we do? Good, good, good. So now we're going to come into teaser. I'm going to demonstrate the full move, then I'm going to show you some modifications. So this gnarly position we did here, that's the end of a full exercise, or the middle of it. So the start is really similar to a roll-up, except I'm going to squeeze the legs together to glue them together. Inhale by the ears, nose nod, head float. Exhale to come up. This time as the arms come up, the legs come up at the same time, and I reach this point where I find neutral spine, and I extend out the toes back into that teaser position. Take a breath there, and then on the exhale, I'm going to round through the spine, roll back, and as the legs come down, the arms are coming down. I'm trying to get my head and my toes down around the same time. Inhale tall, and then exhale. So that's the full move. If you want to modify and you've got a strap, you can put the strap underneath the base of the toes, so tops of the feet, so that when you come up, you're going to not have the arms. You're just going to think nose nod, head float, or you're going to do your nose nod and head float without the arms. Exhale to come up. So this, you can kind of help pull a little, and maybe you come up with the arms extended. Maybe you have the arms in because that's helpful, but you still try to get that point where you find neutral spine before you start to round back. If you need a little bit easier than that, you can do one leg at a time. Inhale tall, and then exhale back. And you can do a few sides on each foot and then switch. Let's do about 8 of these, so 6 to 8. If you need to come out of earlier, that's fine. So you could do 4 and 4 if you're doing one toe at a time. Does that make sense? Yeah. And again, if this doesn't work for anybody, you could just start with that head float and work on the head float without coming into the low back. So starting on the back. Gluing the legs together. We're going to inhale, arms up by your ears, if you're using arms. Exhale, nose nod, head float. Extend arms and legs, find your teaser. Inhale in your teaser. And exhale, curl back slowly, extending legs out and arms out. Inhale, arms by your ears, and exhale, roll up. So we're exhaling to move, inhaling on the end of each position. That's 4. So if you're doing one leg, after this, you may consider switching. About 2 more. And if you have the energy for it, 1 more. And then once you've finished, release your bands, take the arms and legs a little wider, spread the arm, rock the legs side to side, little flop through the hips. Releasing into belly breath, you can take your hands interlaced and just give them a little rock side to side above your body. So notice as you bring it above your upper body, you'll rock the upper body, and as you bring it down, you'll start to rock into the pelvis. Just a little rocking release here. Beautiful. All right. So now that you know a roll up, anytime we come up from the ground, you are either going to roll over to side and press up so that you come up with just where you protect your back, or you can do a full roll up to come up if you just want to add that as a transition. So I'm going to do that. You can come to your side. You can join me in the roll up. Inhale, exhale, roll up. So the more we learn here, the more we can start to sequence the rest of the class. Let's sit up tall. Ha! Nice one. All right. Oh my gosh, it's 7:32. How did that happen? I have so much more for you. Okay, great. So let's cool this baby down. I'm just going to take an extra couple minutes. I hope that's okay. So come up to seated here. Good. And let's just do a gentle release here. So we'll interlace the fingers. Inhale, lift the heart, press the heart forward. And exhale, round. Inhaling to lift and arch. And exhale, round, releasing your Pilates breath. Just a nice relaxing breath here. Inhale, tall. We'll release the fingertips and come over to one side. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, floating to the other side. One more on each side. Finding a bit of flow like seaweed. Inhale, tall. We're going to twist opposite hand to knee. Look over your back shoulder. Inhale to float up. And exhale to twist. One more on each side. Expanding and softening on your exhale. Come back to center and circle the wrists down. Take your ear to one shoulder and over to the other. One more to each side. Come back to center, roll the shoulders up, down, and back. Take your hands to your low belly. And just take a moment here to fill your belly with gratitude. Thanking this area of your body, your center of gravity, center of strength and intuition. Deep breath in. Exhale. Inhale together up. And exhale to the heart. Thank you.